All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bucks America Podcast. I am your host, Jeff Vance. Thanks for tuning in live tonight with our episode that got rescheduled to tonight. I have Efren and Jeff from the Western Hunt Fest. And the inspiration to get these guys on here, I was talking to Brandon Waddell about his, and then all of a sudden it's like, you guys got yours coming up here. It's like, we should get you guys on and talk about the upcoming festival, the origins behind it, how long you guys have been doing it, how long you guys have been friends, and like talk about your journey into bow hunting and what got you going into the whole realm of hunting in itself, and being in the great state of Colorado. You know, you have probably have a lot of good stories to talk to about. So enough about me, guys. So I don't know, Efren, Jeff, I don't know who wants to take over. Why don't you tell us about who you guys are?
Go ahead.
I'll let him start.
Oh, my name's Efren. Jeff and I, we co-own the Western Hunt Fest, which is kind of a mixture of, 3D archery tournament, pack-out challenge, and elk calling contest. We'll go into that a little bit later. But yeah, I've been hunting dang near my whole life. My grandfather got me started on it when I was a wee little boy, and I always grew up a rifle hunter, so I didn't really hunt with a bow up until I think it was like 2000, maybe like 2007, somewhere around there, 2007, 2008. Yeah, the moment I picked up a bow, it was absolutely game changer. Totally different style of hunting, a lot more fun, a lot more challenging. So kind of just fell in love with it, man.
How about you, Jeff? Tell us some story, your background.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Colorado. I grew up rifle hunting. I grew up in a family full of hunters. Kind of halfway grew up on a ranch. So like I lived in a town, but then my family had a ranch, so we were always doing country stuff growing up. And I got into bow hunting by Efren, actually. We married sisters.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So we married sisters, and I was at a birthday party one time, and we got to talking about hunting, and he was like, yeah, you can hunt over the counter in Arizona with the bow. And he's like, you should get a bow. I'm like, all right, well, let's do it. And then, yeah, after that, it was a wrap, man.
So now, who met the sisters first? Now, were you guys already friends before you guys married the sisters?
No.
Okay.
He's known them longer. And then I didn't meet Jeff until on my wedding. My sister-in-law brought him, and that's when I first met him.
Okay.
We had or whatever, but yeah, I hadn't actually met him until my wife and I got married.
So how long you guys have been friends together then, overall?
10 years?
About, yeah.
10 years. Yeah. We don't know what our anniversary is.
Long as you remember the day you got married, it's all that really matters. Everything else is just underneath the bridge.
Hey, that really is our anniversary too, bro.
That is a good.
I think I need a present that day too.
There you go. A new release, new arrows. You can't go wrong with that. You got the upcoming season coming.
Let him fool you. He gets hooked up.
I do.
I know that ability, that opportunity to get hooked up with a whole bunch of unique people and get to shoot some fun arrows and such. So you guys started hunting back in both been rifle hunters for the longest period of time. So what drew you into the sport of archery? Was it just kind of like, hey, let's try this out, or was it just like to extend your season?
I didn't really do it for I hear that a lot, that I wanted to extend my season. I wanted to try different seasons or whatever. It's just, to me, it's more challenging. It's like a sick addiction. it like all the different tinkering and I don't know. I'm sure rifle hunters are the same way. There's probably a million different things you can do to a long range rifle, right? But it's just the the shot situations and the stalking and I mean everything that comes along with it, having to check your wind and all this different stuff. It's a lot more in depth, I guess. More there people are probably going to hate me for it, but more of a hunt, I guess you could call it. You know what I mean?
Okay. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, so I did it for opportunity. So I came from Colorado. I was living in Arizona. And dude, I was looking at the Game and Fish website, like puzzled, like what the heck, dude? Like I had no clue what I was looking at. Like it was very complicated. So I asked him at his son's birthday party, like, yo, what's up with the Arizona hunting? Like, how do we do this? And then that's when we got into the bow hunting talks. And then I think we were out hunting that same August.
Yep.
And then, yeah, it just, after I got a taste of the bow hunting, it was over for rifle hunting. I didn't even want to touch a rifle.
Well, we started in that unit closer to Phoenix, and it was like hit or miss. We'd see a deer, we wouldn't see anything at all. And then one day I just told him, I was like, I got to take you to my honey hole. You got to see this place.
Now, your honey hole, is that in Colorado or is that in Arizona?
No, we were in Arizona. And it was a great spot. We go in and it was like deer after deer after deer after deer. We ended up getting hooked on the coos deer thing down there, or however you want to say it, coos deer, cows, however it is. We got hooked on them bad boys, and we pulled some decent deer out of there before we moved.
I gotcha. One thing I regret not doing when I lived in Arizona, because I lived in Arizona from 2003 to 2009, and I should have got my lifetime hunting down there, so this way I could at least have a leg up since I relocated back to Wisconsin. So I shoulda, coulda, woulda,
Yeah.
Serious. Me too, bro.
Because I've been listening to Randy Newberg, and he talks a lot about how he kicks himself for not taking advantage of the lifetime hunting fishing, because he has a friend of his that I think he lives in Montana or someplace around near him, and he talks about when they go down to the cows hunting down there by Tucson, south of Tucson and such, and just being able to have that leg up to be able to get after those nicer tags, especially along the Mogollon Rim, and even going after some of the fowl down there too, because it's like, did you guys ever get a chance to shoot any fowl down there south of Tucson? Because I know that's pretty much a hot spot, literally from January to February. They get a lot of good activity down there.
What you're talking?
Like ducks? Yeah.
Not south of Tucson. I know like the crane fly out by like Wilcox, like Safford area. I did a little bit of duck hunting there, but it was more like in between Tucson and Phoenix, or out west of Phoenix, but not much south of Tucson, not that I knew of.
I gotcha. Yeah, I keep on hearing them rave about the big old jackrabbits out there. I think like the state record's like 13 pounds. Like, talk about a monster.
It's ridiculous.
They're huge.
Yeah,
they're bigger than the coos deer. Or cows deer.
Yeah, I think it's from what I understand, it's pronounced coos deer based off of the guy that actually found them during the turn of the century, like late 1910, 1911 era. And now, for those who don't know about a coos deer, they only get about 60, 70 pounds.
They're not
one's like 80 pounds. They're not that big.
Yeah, they're not that big.
Yeah, they're tiny.
Have you guys had a chance to knock one down with the bow yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got one each. Or I got one. He's got multiple, but
I've got a couple.
So what is you guys' memorable? Well, since you only have one, tell us about that hunt, because not a lot of people get to up in there in the Midwest know what it's like to hunt such a small animal and why it's nicknamed the Ghost.
Yeah, dude, those things are crazy. So we actually got really lucky. We were driving into a spot. He had already killed one, but we were driving into a spot, and we look up on the hillside and we see 2 bucks feeding. So we literally jumped out of the rig. We quietly closed the doors, and we just snuck up through the. We had like good cover down below them, and then we just snuck up through right at the edge of the opening, and then when they walked out, just smack. But yeah, it sounds super easy, but prior to that, dude, we were getting our butts kicked every time we would get close. They would be gone. Every time we would find them, we'd be looking around, they'd be gone. Those things are just nuts. But my first kill was a super lucky, like, boom, there it is. We sneak in and it's done.
Mhm.
But yeah. And then he had killed one the day before, so it was like it was awesome, just but yeah.
We went a long time without killing anything together, and constantly heard jokes. Constantly from our lovely father-in-law was, what are you guys doing out there?
The brokeback hunting jokes and the
Yeah.
Back thing.
yeah. But both of us grew up killers though, so we knew like it was just a matter of time,
Yeah, you can't give up. It's like the
Yeah.
best part about like hunting, whether it be with a rifle or a bow. That failure just motivates you to work twice as hard for the next year to be able to prepare for it and getting that scouting in before it gets before and after it gets too hot outside, because we all know that Arizona heat is nothing to mess with.
That
terrible.
cold too. It gets cold down there, man. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was literally blown away because I thought, okay, like I'm from Colorado, like I'm gonna go hunt down south by Tucson, like it's gonna be crazy hot. Dude, there were a lot of times that I was freezing down there, man.
Yeah.
Like
It's cold.
a funny
Desert.
story.
It's a different beast. Desert.
We were in a tent and it was raining all night. And I slept good, dude, but I wake up and this guy is soaked. I mean, like sleeping bag, everything just drenched every time. Because I'm short, I'm only 5'7". So I was sitting pretty in the middle of that tent. Well, every time the wind would blow, it would blow and smack him in the face with the water. Just so he woke up and I'm like, "How'd you sleep?" And he was like soaked and he was miserable. Like dang, bro, that sucks.
That is definitely true. What was it, Efren?
I said good times.
Isn't that the truth, man? When I lived in Phoenix, I think it snowed like 3 or 4 times throughout the time I was out there, but it was only just enough to watch the snow come down in Phoenix, like off a baseline, and it just disappear. So I used to live off of baseline and I-10, so I know that area pretty well.
Okay, right on.
Now, you guys are Arizona natives then, or Colorado natives?
No, so I grew up in Rio Rancho, right outside of Albuquerque.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until my sophomore year. So I was born in Tucson, but about 3 years old, we moved out to Rio Rancho, and then sophomore year I moved back to Chandler. And then from then on, I was in Arizona until 2020. So for quite some time.
And now you both reside in Colorado?
Yep. Colorado.
Sweet. So what brought you guys from the Arizona desert to Colorado?
Yeah, so I grew up here. And then when I met my wife, I moved to Phoenix.
Okay.
Or to Chandler. And then I liked it and all, but I just really missed the mountains and, just Colorado, just the lifestyle here. So I think we lived there for like maybe 5 years, and then eventually I convinced her to move. And then from the day I moved, I was trying to get this guy to move. And then finally I convinced him after like a year or two of being back out here.
So what do you think, Efron? Do you like Colorado?
Yeah, man, I love it. The opportunities are amazing. I always laugh because, in Arizona, like an antelope hunt, it's 6-7 years before you're drawing a decent tag. I got buddies back home that are still waiting for to draw a tag. We're over here shooting them over the counter. Archery season. My kids all my daughters have shot antelope now, and that the opportunities are it's amazing for residents and mostly for the youth. So for me, my big thing is my kids hunting. They're all of age right now, so it's big for me to get them out there, and this is definitely the place to do that.
Oh, that's phenomenal, man. I pitched my daughter a couple of years ago, asking if she wanted to come hunting. It's like she flat out tells me in Shields, like, Dad, I don't have the patience for it. It's like, well, I respect your honesty. So it's like, but she still likes to go with us to the archery events and such. We have quite a few planned throughout this upcoming season, except for she will not be coming with me to the Mountain Archery Fest. So I want to segue into the Western Hunt Fest. So
Yeah.
what motivated you guys to start this festival?
Go for it.
Yeah, so we love the 3D archery game. So we love 3D archery. We love Efren owns Pack 'em Out. So like we love the pack outs. I personally love the elk calling. So after going to all these different 3D events and doing all these different things, him and I had just always bounced it back and forth like, hey, we should start one with this or with that or with this or with that. So we just went into it. Like we had an idea of what we wanted and we just went for it.
That's great then. So what were some of the things that you guys learned? Like what were some of the hurdles you had to get through and like to get where you're at to launch year one?
Go ahead, Efren.
I'm like,
There's a lot.
advertising, trying to get it. I think the thing that we struggled with the most, because you have an idea, right? And you want to put it out there and you want it to be successful, but there's so much that goes behind it. You got to advertise for it. You got to find, vendors that are willing to come out and they want to take who's going to say, yeah, I'll come out and I'll take a shot on you guys. Hope that some people are going to show up and I sell enough to make my vendor booth fee. Like it's hard when you have no leg to stand on. You know what I mean? Like it was our first year and Jeff and I, we've made a few contacts over the years and we kind of just shot for, like shoot for the stars. Let's invite everybody. Let's try to get every vendor we can imagine. If they're on your wish list, like let's contact them. So we didn't really hold back and we had amazing support from go. Like immediately we had pretty much everyone that we reached out to our first year said yeah, like they wanted to be so we have a ton of support, but like as far as lessons learned and like how did we get involved with it is I think the advertisement was really the hardest part, getting the word out to the right people, and it's tough, man. It's definitely something. It's a little harder than I thought it was going to be.
Okay. When it comes down to foam, did you guys have to pull out a loan, or how did you come about buying the 3D units that you needed to host an event?
So that was one of our biggest hurdles. So we weren't going to start it if we had to get a loan. So we wanted to keep it debt free when we were doing it.
Smart.
So we actually reached out to places with targets in place and we said, hey, can we rent these targets? So what we do still currently is we rent the targets from the place that we're having our event. And then we use their targets, we set up the courses and we tear them down. So we rent from them to help our budget stay even, So we went at this. I mean, we jumped into it, but we went at it really smart where we're not getting big loans. We're not,
Right.
we're not putting our families, because we both have 4 kids he has 5, I have 4. So we both have big families. So we really wanted to be smart and tactful when we did it. But yeah, so we rent targets as of right now.
That's smart then. So we don't have to worry about having a trailer to haul them around. So then
Right.
at NRA there at Raton, New Mexico, they already have 3 targets for you just to rent. That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we pay on shooters. So basically every shooter that goes, we pay a fee on that shooter. So it's perfect. It's a win-win for both, and then their revenue that they make off of the event, they could buy their new targets. We are still debt free. So we are able to keep moving forward, so it's a good model. It's worked so far.
That's awesome, man, guys.
Yeah.
So As you guys continue to grow everything, will you guys be able to? Are you starting to start buying your own targets to just expand on the existing?
Yeah. So as we grow, you know, I think he stepped away now, but I think Jeff would probably say it's, you know, he'd probably agree with me when I say like the vision of the Western Hunt Fest is not to be, we're not trying to compete with Total Archery or Mountain Archery, right? We're a little different type of event. I don't think we're ever going to be to the point where we want, 1,000 people coming through in a weekend or a week or whatever. We're more informative on like the elk calling seminar, elk calling contest. We like the pack companies to come out and showcase their packs, teach people how to properly load their packs, things like that. So, if we ever grow to the point where we have, maybe 200 shooters at an event, I think that's a lot for what we're going to be doing. So eventually incorporating our own targets is probably going to be a good idea, but definitely operating debt free is first on my agenda.
Yeah, it makes sense because I see you have the pack out challenge, the elk calling contest, 3D archery tournament, and then the elk calling seminar. Now it looks like you have Jermaine Hodge from Phelps Calls that he's going to be able to come out and looks like he's going to be able to go to both of them or just one of the events to put on these seminars for the people that are participating.
Yeah, so so initially we had Jermaine. However, our schedules are super conflict because he does the WCAP program for the wrestling team of the Army. So he's pretty tied up in April. So he's not going to be able to make that one. And then in June, he's going to be tied up again. So we're actually going to have the Elk Bros, and then we're going to have another person do a seminar who is amazing as well too. So Joe Gilia is going to do both, and then we're going to have another seminar in there with Joe as well.
That's awesome.
For as far as Jermaine, he'll be still with us. It just on these two events, he's not going to be with us on these two. So the next one moving forward, we'll have Jermaine on it as well.
Are you guys going to plan a third one for the year, or are you just set with the two that you currently have booked?
We're set with the two, and then next year we're going to do 3 or 4.
Okay.
So
that's fantastic growth now. Since you guys are still fairly small with the people that are attending the event, are you finding a lot of new elk hunters coming to your events?
I didn't. The ones in talking to people it seemed like they were seasoned hunters. That's what I got from it. Maybe Jeff's talked to some different people, but the most of the athletes that I talked to last year were like seasoned hunters.
Yeah, same here. They were all seasoned hunters. This year, I really, really want to focus on getting new hunters in there. So a lot of my efforts have been towards like the new hunters looking to get into bow hunting. I really want to focus in on getting, the community involved because like living in a place like Colorado or New Mexico, everybody hunts, like literally everybody hunts, whether it's rifle, whether it's shotgun, bow, everybody hunts. So we really, that's another big thing for us is we want to involve the whole community. So I'm hoping that we get the interest of the new hunters, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm sure there were a few, but not very many. Not as many as I would have liked to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you can always also look at too. It's you guys heard of Beast Mode Archery Challenge here in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. I just caught wind of that like a few months ago, and man, ever since then I'm always like stalking their page. Like I love what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
I want to work with them. One of the guys that we work with, I guess he knows the guys pretty well. So I kind of want to work with them, like throwing guys back and forth to each other. Cause I mean, they're awesome too. I love what they're doing,
Mm-hmm. That's a really good way that Brian Austin and Johnny Love or Johnny Dove, they've both been able to come up with a solid strategy in getting new people in there. And they really went after the athlete aspect of it. Like, for example, you guys are both having events on the same weekend here in April. And he's doing an endurance race. One lap is 2.2 miles. You have to shoot 4 targets throughout the entire thing. It should take you roughly 8 hours to complete the entire course. But what he did is to bring in the athlete that wants to put themselves through hell, was that he opened it up to have a team of 4, and not everybody has to shoot, but everybody has to carry weight. That's just some ways to bring in that aspect of getting those ultra marathoners in there too as well. It's just as you grow and like mirror other people. But Brian Austin's the guy I talked to. He's been on my podcast so many times, so he is the. He's got a mindset for it, but he also has a well-depth background in athletics and extreme sports. I mean, his pedigree came from when he started doing the mountain bike racing, and then it just kind of just the evolution brought him to where he's at today. But man, you guys would be a fantastic way to collaborate, just to kind of bring the two together. Because when I was looking at your pack out challenge, like this screams Brian's, like you guys like could brainstorm, and it'd be a fantastic collaboration to be able to get you guys out there to figure out a way to work them out. And he's, as you guys all know, like when you get into bringing these events together, it's like soon as the snow melts, it's like it's game time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had Joel reach out to him to get a banner so we could hang it at the Western Hunt Fest of Beast Mode Archery.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I want to promote them. You know what I mean? Like, like I think what they're doing is awesome, and yeah. So hopefully we'll work together someday. But as of right now, I don't think we've had any conversations yet. But
well, Brian is a busy man, but I'm sure if I will put you guys into a conversation so this way you guys can start talking and brainstorming. And if you want to do it before or after your event, we can go from there. Because I know getting these events set up and getting these courses set up, and if you want to try to add things onto them last minute, can kind of be a headache.
Oh yeah, big time.
So with the pack out challenge, you guys decided to, because you guys, it's very straightforward with you're required to haul out 4 quarters ahead, tenderloins backstrap. And what kind of created this inspiration to create this pack out challenge?
Go for it, Efren.
Competition. Really, that's what it boiled down to. Like, yes, like we keep reverting back to informative. Yes, we want to be informative, and we want to make sure people use this event as 1, fun, but 2, like set your baseline. Like find out where you're at for elk season, because it's around the corner. You come out and you check your rig, and you use your pack and make sure all your straps are working, and you know what you're doing with your pack and all the good stuff, right? But the competition aspect of it is really why we did it. Like it's just fun. You against your buddy, you against whoever else on the mountain. It's always fun to say, yeah, I was the fastest one taking all those sandbags around, and I didn't quit. And it's the competition, and you get to take the belt home when you're the solo champ too. So that's always a plus, because everybody loves to bling.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty original. I like that idea of bringing out the WWF and WCW belt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and so I don't know. There's a lot of guys like me out there who will train for something if they have a goal, but they'll procrastinate their training to elk season. So this is just one more reason for somebody to train to, just to get prepared for the season. But yeah, we went all in on the trophies, dude. Like every trophy we have is big. It's blingy. It's fun. Yeah. Our boys are wrestlers, and we would mess around with the local tournaments, and they had all these little medals. Well, then we would go to these bigger tournaments, and they'd have these big old giant trophies and the belts and stuff, and they would just get them going. So that was also in our planning phase. We were going to these tournaments at that time, and we were like, hey, we should do this. We should have a belt. We should have trophies. Like that was kind of our thing. I'm gonna mute this, so go ahead, Ev.
Yeah, it all goes back to the trophies, the competition against your fellow hunters. It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I noticed the belts. Now, Cafaro is one of your bigger sponsors. Now, I'm hoping that this is pretty cool. It's like, so when you participate in this challenge, do you get to use their equipment to test it out, or do you have to bring your own?
So here's how last year worked. They were one of our bigger sponsors last year as well. And just with conflicting dates, and this is like the growing process, like we were talking about. Like we talked about, advertisement was a struggle in the beginning. Time frames is also something big because there's so many other events going on throughout the country, and all the big names are all over the place. Well, we want the big names with us as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So last year was a struggle. They couldn't have anyone out to come out and showcase their product. This year, however, they have made it so that they will have a couple people from Kafaru on site at both events. I believe they're going to try to bring some bags that if you want to run them, you can. But for the most part, people are encouraged to use what they're going to use in the woods, right? You want to check your gear. Like, it's great to try out a new bag, but if you're actually coming out to compete with and see and check that baseline, like, you want to use your pack. You want to make sure you know how to use your pack. I let people use my Reckoning last year. Jeff had his out, so people could use that as well. My wife's Hellbender was out there, so we definitely have packs for people to try out if they want. But yeah, I would recommend they show up with one.
Okay, that's a good question I want to have answered. What I just kind of spurt came to my mind here is like, do you know how cool it is that whoever, like, if you're a brand new elk hunter that doesn't have any gear or something like that, that would be a great prize. It's like your prerequisites are you've never drawn a tag, you have a pending tag for the fall, and you don't have any gear, and it's like, and if you don't, this would be a great way to introduce that new hunters into it, because like a good pack is not cheap, and we all know it's like you're either going to go with Kafaru, you're going to go with what's that company that Mystery Ranch. Who else makes a really solid pack that you guys?
Initial Ascent.
Initial
Ascent. There we go.
Yeah. There's Stone Glacier. There's a handful now.
I really
So
But that'd be a really cool way to spur those new folks into it, is just reach out to them. It's like, hey, if you're brand new and saying this is your opportunity to get some gear, it's like, and just have a whole subclass of just new people. It may take a couple years to actually have like 3 or 4 people, because it'd be nice to have like 6 brand new people out there, and 3 people walk home with some gear. It may not be a full pack, but something that will get them stepped in the right direction, or like a gift card towards one of these respectable companies.
yeah.
We've got
oh, go ahead.
We're giving out this year. Our title sponsor, this entire thing's brought to you guys by Colorado Springs Shields this year. So they've put out, tons of advertisement for us. They've given us a whole bunch of gift cards to give out. So if someone is a new hunter and you're looking for gear, definitely I would say come to the event, participate, and we give out something to everybody. So there's going to be quite a few $100 gift cards being given out. There's gift cards in some of the prize packs. So definitely something to look forward to.
That's smart. I like that strategy to get after that young market and such. Now, do you guys have anything for kids wise? Like, is most of your attendees mostly like young adults to seasoned hunters?
Yeah, so no, we're gonna have stuff for the kids. So last year we had like Nerf guns, and we let the kids have a Nerf fight in the vendor area, which was pretty cool. And we might build on that a little bit this year, but we'll definitely so we last year we had one single elk calling contest, and we let the kids join it.
Okay.
And some of them did really well in it, but this year we're breaking up the kids in their own division, giving them like really good prize packages, and then we're gonna have like some like a little like kids range with like some Nerf bows and just stuff like that, just to keep them entertained. And then we're also gonna have like cornhole and the seminars and food and whatnot. So we really want to focus in on the families this year too, because it's hard to get. For me, I'm going to speak for myself. I have 4 kids. It's hard to go to 5 different 3D shoots without your family, So we wanted to include the families with our New Mexico event. They have the camping, they have the cabins and everything. So it's going to be a really good time. We also have a vendor with us. Have you ever heard of MTS Archery?
I have not.
So it's moving target systems. So he throws skeet, like there's skeet targets for a trad bow,
Okay.
and the kids soak it up, man. It's so fun. He brings a handful of bows that people can shoot with, and he has like little flu-flus on it. So we're really trying to get like the new hunters by having one, it's a free entry to anybody who's not competing. So we want to just pack it in so that there's all these people there growing their interest as they're watching the competitions. And then two, we have the monitor screen for the pack out challenge. So we're going to get to watch the contestants. So we really want to involve everybody in it so that, like, the guy that, lives 20 miles from Raton is like, hey, I really want to get into hunting. Oh, this looks really cool. Let me try this out. And then, oh, there's some vendors here. Let me try out some gear. Let me see, like, let me work on, this, that, and the third. So
That is the right way to go. So, Efren, tell me about Pack 'em Out apparel. I've been looking at your website and digging through it here. So, is this something? It started in 2018. So, how is that project, that business going for you?
It's it's fun. It's fun. It's a business. It started out as an idea that maybe I could sell a couple shirts and hats. Yeah, I did the whole buy the cheap gilded shirts, and I bought, I think, a dozen or 2 dozen hats for pennies on the dollar from some janky website. Had them embroidered, took them out to a 3D shoot in Phoenix, and basically sold them out. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. So we started, trying to find a better shirt, better quality shirts, better quality hats. Started working with different artists in the Valley, trying to find out, what type of designs would sell, and really started making a business out of an idea. And now we're selling every week. We're pushing out orders, and we're in Shields now, and it's become a little more than just an idea. But it's fun. It's fun to keep the family involved. My family, Jeff's family, we go to these 3D events together. Both households constantly wearing the products all over town. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to pursue. Is it making a ton of money? No, but it's fun.
That is true. At least you'll always be in stock of hats, T-shirts, and hoodies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, because you guys even branched into having a kill kit system too as well, which is pretty cool to have all that stuff wrapped up and ready to rock and roll for your gloves. And was it 3 sets of black rubber gloves, reflective paracord, 10 replacement blades? I mean, it's a pretty good setup right there for. I think that's a fair price what you have it for.
Yeah, it's not bad. Those sell pretty decent also.
Yeah, I was looking at even went the extra mile to have them all embroidered and such. Now, I see one of our good friend, our mutual friend, Mondo. Is he doing any custom
Not yet.
bow holders for you guys? Bow hitches?
He says he is.
Yeah, I was talking to him earlier today. I told him we had this podcast. He told me to make sure to tell you what's up. But I'm still waiting for a custom, either a Western Hunt Fest or a Pack 'em Out bow hitch.
He's working on it.
That'd be a good reason to get a new bow, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, because carrying your bow sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, now, but I definitely use another one.
I got one on my bow, and my wife likes her bow spider, so it's like, well, and I got a target bow, so it's like it's not really that's just the stabilizer just make it too awkward to carry around. So on either platform, so but they're a great stocking stuffer to have. It's like I got a nice bright blue one, so everybody can see it and pops out. So I've seen a few people out here east of the Mississippi carrying them around. So
Oh, really?
not quite popular, but it's growing. Every
Yeah,
time I
definitely.
swing in and tell people to like, hey, you should check this stuff out.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a great product. I love it, man.
It's so
It
simple.
was the game changer. It was a game changer for me.
Oh,
Yeah. I love it. And then Mondo himself and Doug, they're as cool as it gets.
Yeah,
Those
they are.
guys, like if you like all the different systems, just their personality alone is enough to buy,
yeah.
their product. Their product is amazing, but those two guys they're top notch. Although they're from New Mexico.
Well, at least they're not that far away. So when you guys chose Raton as your location, why did you pick that? Because there's so many opportunities in your area.
The
So
facility.
yeah, the facility is amazing. I reached out to another place that's a little more Albuquerque local, I guess.
Okay.
And they just some of them wanted it. I guess it had to go to a board, and some people wanted it, some people didn't. So they don't have as many 3D. So going back to we rent our targets, right? So
Yes.
there's a lot of places you could probably go in New Mexico, but that gets real small when you get down to where now I have to go to a place where they already have a setup. You get limited on your options. So currently operating the way we are, we only had a few to choose from, and by far the best option for us was the NRA Whittington Center. And they literally have given us nothing but love from the moment they answered the first email. It was yes, we want to talk. So it's kind of a no-brainer to not only do it there this year, but future also, like that'll definitely be one of our homes.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I'm looking at their area view here. They got a gun range. They have trap shooting. I mean, they got a really good, nice facility to work out of.
See, and
Yeah.
that's the thing too is, so we have our event the 29th and 30th of April, but if someone wanted to come out literally, if you wanted to come a week early, you could come out and you can shoot skeet. You can just hang out with your family. You can do, if you want to bring your long range guns out, you can do that. They have pistol ranges. They've got everything there.
I want to say they have 15 ranges and 33,000 acres. So like the place is like amazing. I mean, I grew up like 20 minutes from there too.
Okay.
I had never been there, honestly. Like there's always been like this line between Colorado and New Mexico. So like where I was from, like we'd always go north. Like, oh, you want to go do something fun? Go to Colorado, So like honestly, I'm ashamed, but I had never been there until this thing started.
I gotcha.
But
And
yeah, it's amazing. The building we're setting up for the vendors in is 100 yards long, and it's got all these bay doors, so like the vendors can set up inside, but then they could open their bay door and then be outside. It's awesome.
that's great. With the April, you never know what you're going to come into, if you're going to deal with snow or if you're going to be dealing with rain. And then, in fact, the matter. But then it gives everybody to get out of the weather, and if it's whatever makes sense for them. Now, how many targets does their facility have for you guys to utilize?
So we have enough there for at least 2 courses, but we have a good relationship with the American Bowmen too, and other people we could rent targets from if we need more and more and more. So as of right now, we're okay with what they have there, but we do have good relationships to get more if we need them to. And
What are we
then
running?
and then
220 target courses this year, right?
Yep. Yeah, and in the future, when the numbers grow, we'll grow that too as well. But we we have all the room in the world at the NRA Whittington Center. We could, I mean, ideally we can set up five courses if we wanted, but we're slowly working on purchasing our own targets too. So we're going to buy some here, some there, some here, some there, and just really slowly work this thing and grow it organically.
Smart. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
I was going to recommend you guys should reach out to Cameron Stover. He runs huntinggeardeals.com, and he's got he's got a bot that basically goes out into the interwebs there and pulls out all of the deals throughout the entire year. And he's the guy to talk to about making sure like when you want to buy them at the best price. Like today, for an example, I went on to his website and there's deals that are with Reinhardt and Camel Fire that have deals for it with elk, like the 1/3 of the size, and then you got a few bag targets, a few other stuff like that. But that'd be the best person to reach out to, because in this way, then he can have his finger on the pulse for it. It's like, hey, this is what's coming up, because he's got a really good relationship with everybody, and that would be the best way to be able to start building your arsenal up.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind, get us in contact with him.
Oh yeah, I'll gladly do it for you guys.
Yeah. And then, so we haven't even touched on our 3D competition, like what that entails. So our 3D competition, we have assigned hunter specific tasks at each shot. So for instance, like shot number 1, there's going to be an animal in a tree and you have to shoot at a steep angle and through some brush. So like each target is going to have you either crawl, you're going to have to do like squats, you're going to have to do something assigned with each target that you may find in the woods, like, pulling back from a blind, or, just shooting with the elevated heart rate, shooting with buck fever, just all these different assignments that we put on each shot. So it's not just a typical like 3D shoot where you have good footing. We're going to mess with your footing. We're going to mess with your confidence, and we're going to try to break your score down so that you really learn before you get into the elk woods, or into the hunting woods.
Smart.
Yeah.
Then now, do you have any novelty shots that you guys are gonna be incorporating too, for the ones that are like a 130-yard shot, or anything random like that, something that you wouldn't typically do in the real world, but something just to fun with for a long poke?
So initially when we were setting up the course, we were not going to do it, but then we did a live and everybody wanted the long shot. So our justification behind that is a follow-up shot, because any follow-up shot's a good shot, Yeah. So we do have a couple long bombers out there, and on each shot we have like a little instructional like thing on the course telling people like what it is and stuff. So we did include that in there, but yeah, we have some long shots in there.
Oh, that's always exciting. That's always fun to be able to get them out into that realm. Then, now is this going to be a separate what's what I'm looking for, a separate 3D course for the archery challenge tournament, or is that going to be the entire course?
So one day is going to be one course, and then the other day is going to be the other course. So we have on Saturday we'll be running Mule Canyon, and then on Sunday we'll run I think it's called Graveyard Canyon, and then at American Bowman we'll run Red, and then we'll run Blue. So we'll run 2 tournaments. So it's two 3D tournaments for the weekend. So each day has a champion.
Smart. And this way also gets people to come sign up and get the 2-day shooter pass there, because it's like, why not spend the money to do it? Because it's like there's an opportunity for you to get out there, and especially like I've run into this too, where I've shot at a couple R100s, and you have thunderstorms coming in, and the thunderstorms are not going to let up for at least until after dark. And so as you give you an opportunity to come back and shoot again. I know last year it happened to me at the R100 here in Wisconsin, where we shot Saturday, we got through 25 targets. Then the storms kind of start rolling in, because you start feeling the humidity, you can start smelling the rain, and you just look at our radars like that's just nothing but a sea of red and yellow. So it's like, well, this is good. This is going to be done. So I packed it up and had my good buddy Jeremy from the Toxon App. He came over to my place. We sat down and recorded a podcast, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden I pull a tick off of myself. And it's like then of course then the paranoia sets in. It's like everything's a tick.
Oh yeah. I'm deathly afraid of those things.
Oh, I agree. There's something not to monkey with. And down in your area, there down in that region of the country, there's a few ticks out there that can make you allergic to meat. It's like that's not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? I had a guest on my podcast here a couple weeks ago. It's titled 20,000 minus one things to do in the blind. And one of the gals on her name's Julie, and she has Lyme disease, and she ended up getting autoimmune disease from it. And it's like so she isn't able to. So I'm looking for. She's able to draw a bow back, but she's still able to go out there and hunt because she's found that eating a nice all-natural meat and eating more of a meat diet, more of a carnivore diet, really helps with her autoimmune disease and such, and with her two kids too, because she got the disease prior to having the kids, and it passed down through them. So that was a something that I did not know that could actually happen for women that can pass that down through the birth canal. So that's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Also, so like as far as our vendors, so like our vendor pricing is super affordable. So if you guys like want to set up or if you know somebody who's looking to grow their business and really get into the Western states, have them reach out to us, man. We have a handful of vendors, but we have a lot of area to set up in our New Mexico event. Our Colorado, we're almost capped out, but I think we could accept a couple more too. So if you guys know somebody, or if you would like to come out.
No, both your events, I am going to be doing something. So the April 29th one, that's an HHA USA event at Vortex here in Wisconsin. And then the June 24th, 25th, I'll be in Beaver, Utah at a math event.
There you
Oh,
go.
nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, well, it's something that we'll have to figure out how to do for the next year for
Yeah,
us to
for
figure out
sure.
how to do it. Because me and my group of us, we started planning our 2023 season in December to try to figure out what days we can work off with and what
Yeah.
days and who all has PTO to take this stuff. Because for us, to get out to Beaver, it's going to be a 24-hour drive for me to get out there.
Gee, that's a drive. Yeah, that goes like I said. We kind of bump heads with a lot of different events. So planning for next year for 24, we'll probably start like mid hunting season. We'll start poking our heads around and seeing who's setting dates where and what vendors we want to try to secure again for 24. We'll probably start talking to them ASAP.
That's the best way to do it, to try to get an idea what's all going on. So what's going on at the Colorado there in Bailey?
Yeah. So Bailey is where we had our first event, and it's awesome, man. It's like the courses are set up like very challenging, and then the president of the club, he tweaks it to our likings as well. So he like makes it a little
Awesome.
harder because he's like one and the same with us. Like he wants challenging shots. He wants to break you down and really make you learn from your shots. So
Okay.
Bailey is awesome. And then it's just set up in the mountains. It's close to Denver. It's perfect, you know. It does not have electricity and it does not have camping though. Those are the only two things. But other than that, man, it's awesome. And in the future, we see like holding our championship there, you know, because we could only hold a max of 150 people there. So in our future plans, we foresee just having our championship at Bailey
Okay.
and having it later in the summer, and then having our other events before that, so that all of our qualifiers can just roll on into Bailey. But like, it's a class act club. Like it's awesome. Like we were very fortunate to stumble upon them. So it was great.
And I'm looking at it at the map here. It's like, yeah, you flying into Denver will be pretty easy. There's tons of Airbnbs in Golden, Morrison. The reason why I just have a history of this, because I went to a wedding here a couple of years ago out in Denver, stuff like that. Their reception was in Golden, so we spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time looking at Airbnb and places. We turned it into a whole event. So like the wedding was right at the very, very beginning, and the rest was our honeymoon, because it's like, and then after, well, we had got married in 2019. Well, then we all know the shitstorm that happened in 2020. So then it just kind of worked out for us to go there. And I swear, I tell my friends, it's like Denver looks like a Midwest Chicago for how rough the infrastructure is, and all of the good thing. The nice thing is about winter time, a lot of homeless people run south.
Yeah. They stick it out too. There's a lot.
Yeah. They're not scared of it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, we live in the better part of the state. You know, we live a little closer to the 14ers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was looking at this too. It's like, man, it's funny. Because on Monday, since we were about to connect on Monday, I ended up doing a podcast with buddies that were going out to Mountain Archery Fest. So that day, so it's like I got the podcast on Monday. I got you guys tonight, and then I have another podcast Friday night. So it's like I do a lot of work. And it's just, I swear, all I do is live in front of a computer, just editing and doing shorts and all that fun stuff. It's a lot of fun, but boy, it really takes a lot of time management to figure everything out. But I was looking at the route. We're going to be going right over you guys through 70 through the path to get out to Beaver.
Stop and say hi.
Well, the way out, it's all business. But on the way back, it's going to be slower, because it's like we're going to be wrapping up Sunday. And then we'll be Sunday or Monday, one of the two, and then we're going to start making our way back east and stuff like that. And the people I'm riding with, they want to take their time, go slower. It's like, that's perfectly fine. It's like I took an additional day off just to kind of relax, because this will be the first time ever for me being above 10,000 feet. So my mind has been gearing up to be in training mode to get ready for this event. And I saw that you guys, one of your sponsors is Wilderness Athlete. And one of the products that they have is their Altitude Advantage.
Yep.
And that's one, it's like, what are your elevations for your events? Just for those that are listening to this podcast or watching the podcast, know what to expect on what altitude it is, so this way that they can either prepare for it or get ready for it, or get their lungs, get their blood and everything ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, so Raton, New Mexico, the NRA Whittington Center, I believe it sits, like our pack out course, I believe it sits at like 6,000 feet elevation, so it's not crazy high. But then when we get up in there and do Bailey, I believe we're at 85.
Okay.
And I could be a little off on those numbers, but it's not much. Yeah, so the course at the Whittington Center will be longer than the course at Bailey. Mm-hmm. However, they should be about equal on what they take out of you, you know.
Yeah.
Good approach to have. How many targets are going to be at Bailey then?
40 as well.
40. Okay, 22, 20.
2 courses. Yep.
Okay. Very cool. You know, and one thing what Beast Mode Archery did, what they did is they to create a third one, is that they did 14 targets per one, but it's like it's a no joke, no laughing matter type of terrain to get through. So these aren't going to be any walk in the park. And what are some of your expected ranges for what archers should expect for distances between the tees, the tee box, and then their 3 target?
Go for it, Efren, if you remember.
Yeah, I think the average are like 40 and 50, but you got some, I think one of them is even sub 10. And then, we've got a couple that are, 60 or 65 ish, but really we're trying to keep them ethical shots. So 60, 30 to 60, there's a whole bunch of those. And then we got a couple longer ones mixed in there, but try to stay like 30 to 60 ish.
I think one of them is 6 yards, and I think the furthest is 103, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's like I want to be part of the podcast too.
When she's done with me on the computer, she like jumps up on the table like, "You're done."
It's like, you must give me love, and it looks like she got a leaf in her mouth.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
She's a wild girl.
Sweet. And then, do you have any plans, or do you have anything right now on penciled in for 2024?
Not yet.
kind of.
Oh, maybe he does. I didn't think we did.
Well, for sure, we'll be back at the Whittington Center,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
and then we are 90% sure that we'll be back at American Bowman, and then and then he's working on another one.
Yeah. So something we're gonna bring into next year is a scoring system. So the athletes will come to, let's say, Raton, and you'll get an overall score. If in your archery you score, let's just give hard numbers. You do 100, you get 100 in your archery. Your pack out challenge went okay, and you got 70 points for that, and you bombed the elk calling and you got 10 points, whatever, right? So we'll take either top 3 or top 4. We haven't decided. From each event, you'll get whoever's got, the top 3 high scores. Those people would get invited to what we're hoping to do. It's like the, the finals in Bailey, a little more small, intimate place. We don't really need all the vendors to show up. It's more of a come out and earn your final trophy. So we're hoping to incorporate that scoring system next year. And like Jeff said, we'll have 3 or 4 events next year. So we can kind of we'll pull athletes from, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, maybe Utah, Wyoming. Not sure where the other 2 events are going to come up. But it would be ideal for us to keep that finale in Bailey.
That'd be pretty cool. Do you have any prospects in like Arizona? Because I was just thinking, like, if you guys want to do something a little bit different, maybe start your season in March or even in February if there's an opportunity for it. But someplace in the lower desert,
right?
You guys thought about doing something like that to be a little bit different, just to kind of kick off the 3D season, be a little bit for everybody? I don't know if that is outside your realm of what you want to do, because everything right now is very fitted towards elk, and I don't know how what I'm looking for.
I know a lot of elk hunters in Arizona, whether it's northern Arizona or southern Arizona, they're everywhere. So yes, we are a little more elk driven, but the competition is there. The shooters are there. Arizona is definitely on the radar. Whether it's northern Arizona, central, or southern, not really sure yet. So I guess that's to be determined. But yeah, it's definitely on there. We want to do an Arizona one, especially because I started hunting. Well, not started hunting, but started bow hunting there. It's definitely a hot spot for me. I'd like to get an event rolling there. I got a lot of buddies that are encouraging it to come out towards Arizona too. So
yeah, I was looking like Black Canyon City. They got a nice terrain there, but the thing is, like, to fit your guys' model, do they have any 3D clubs out there? That is the kicker.
Yeah, and there's some good clubs in Arizona. So I know if we push up towards Flagstaff, there's definitely options there. I've already started doing a little bit of research. So
that's awesome, guys. Is there anything that we haven't touched on tonight?
Yeah, so we're adding a women's pack out challenge. We had a lot of interest from women, so we're gonna make it towards like a mule deer size. So we're gonna do the same pack out track, but we're gonna have mule deer quarters and the mule deer fixings with the euro of the mule deer. And then also we do have a full on novelty range. I know you asked about that, and I don't think we fully touched on it. So we have we're allowing our vendors to set up their own shots and give away like extra giveaways. But we also have like just our own giveaways that we'll give away at those novelty shots. Like last year we gave away an exotic hunt in Texas, and then this year we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna give away one of those hunts as well, and then we'll have just a bunch of different vendors setting up their own novelty shots, which are really fun, and those really add to the event, which we didn't really touch on that at all.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I was just thinking about this. There's a gal I have my podcast. Her name's Liz Ann, and she runs Hunt LA, and it's a outfitter, but it's more like she's a travel agent where her whole focus is getting women out in the outdoors and they go out there hunting. It's like that would be a good a partnership to see if your guys' backgrounds could make something happen, because she is heavily focused on females getting out there into the outdoors, and she doesn't just do archery stuff. She's done trips down to the Florida Everglades to do iguana hunting. She's taken them out to go do duck hunting, geese hunting, wild hog hunting. Or just 5 to 8, anywhere between 6 to a dozen women going on these adventures and stuff like that. And she says it's quite popular with the husbands that will actually spend the extra money to get them on these things, because she says it's great morale boosting. It's a good way to increase their confidence, get some good hard wins underneath their belt, especially when they'll have a lifetime when they shoot down their first whatever it may be, like going to be a whitetail or a goose or a duck or something. It just kind of creates these memories that just last a lifetime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the women are really getting into hunting in the last few years, so we really want to push on that too, and because his wife hunts, my wife is kind of interested in it, so we really want to like get the whole family involved, especially from the kids and the wives. And then another thing that I didn't touch on is that one of our courses we made almost fully handicap accessible. And we have a vendor coming out from Antlift. Have you ever heard of them?
Antlift. I don't think they've shown up in my feed yet, but do tell me about them.
Yeah, so he makes mobility lift things. So like for the back of the truck, for the back of the UTV. He just he has a heart for the wounded veterans, and he really does a lot for them. So we have him out there. He's going to help move people around. And then we also have Our Country for Heroes. Have you ever heard of them?
It sounds like they're more focused in the Southwest area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they go out east a lot too. So they have whitetail properties out east that they take veterans on hunts. And I have a brother who is a double amputee, and I met Chase at one of the Total Archery Challenges. Or actually, I met him at MAF.
Yeah.
And then we got hooked up with him. My brother actually went on an elk hunt with him, which was amazing. So we really want to involve those guys too. So we want to bring the whole community. That's a big part of it. Sorry, my dogs are a pain in the butt.
It's perfectly understandable. You also have the Neested Foundation there as well. They partnered up with HHA USA, and that's HHA Sports at 501c3 of helping giving back to the veterans and such. And they're based right out of Texas, and that would be a good person to talk to too. Their main go-to guy, his name's Joe Rhodes. I'm trying to work with him and try to get a podcast in it, because he's the one that started up the skeet shooting event at the end of the month on April 29th there at the Vortex shoot there at their facility.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love companies that really like cater to the veterans. Like I love that, man. Like anybody that you think would be a good contact for us too, just let me know, man. I would love to involve everybody, and grow this thing to where we need to get some extra help, and
where it's not just the two of you.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, Efren, you mentioned that your wife hunts as well. How long has she been hunting?
So she picked up a rifle and did like the I think her first hunt was a javelina hunt down in southern Arizona. Unsuccessful, but went out and did it. But in 2020, when we moved to Colorado, she decided that she wanted to start shooting a bow. So I think it was November of 2020, we bought her a bow, and she started shooting no more than like 50 yards out. And by September, the following September of 21, we had her on. Jeff and I had her on stocks, on elk. She took a 50-yard shot at a bull her first season out. Loves it. She's She's sick for it. She'll hit the hills. She'll have fun. Not as often as I'd like her to, but anytime she can go, she's jumping in the truck. So it's cool. It's fun having her out there.
It is. My wife hunts too as well, and we just got her bow finally sighted in because it's like she was at a low poundage for so long, and some sites don't really kind of have a whole lot of flexibility with you have to sight, like especially with the HHA Tetra, you have to sight it in at 20, you have to sight it in at 60. Well, we find over a course of a year, we slowly built up those shoulder muscles and getting everything going. So now she's pulling back at 50 pounds. We were able to get her finally. So now she's dropping bombs at 60 yards now, but it's fully sighted in. So when she feels more confident to drop them out at 70 or 80, it's like, I'm looking forward to the day when she gets to do it. It's like, I don't mind spending money on arrows. Like for Christmas, I got my wife and my daughter another dozen arrows and stuff like that. So get her ready for the season because they lost a lot of arrows.
Yeah. Does she like that Tetra sight? That's the same sight my wife has, and she loves it.
Oh yeah, it is very easy to use, and it's like the nice thing about it, it's like the wheel on it's so large that you can actually don't have to worry about taking your gloves off. So this way you can dial it in. And I found something out that she really boosted her confidence was adding a magnifier to it. And so we added a 4x magnifier, and she wears glasses, so she didn't have to have a clarifier or a verifier on it. So now she's far more confident dropping bombs at 60.
Oh, that's
further.
Cool. Right on.
So if her eyesight's still good enough where you don't have, well, you guys live out west, so a lot of states don't allow to have magnifiers on there unless I don't even know if even a doctor's prescription would allow them to skirt around that regulation.
No, they won't unless you could apply for like special permits, but I don't know what the qualifications are for that. But yeah, I doubt they would.
See, out east here, whitetail, it's not that big a deal for it since we're so abundant for them. So you can rock a clarifier and a whatever magnification you want to use for them, especially with turkeys and such. They are not very restrictive on that particular aspect. But those, if anybody you know that's like struggling with their eyesight, HHA has a great 2x, 4x, and a 6x. If you want to go that far out there to help zone in there. Now she's gotten to be pretty competitive. There's a couple of pictures on my Instagram where she took a picture of both of our scorecards where it shows like the first half that were like just neck and neck. And then as the day went on, it's like you could see the clear winner of it all.
I dream of that day.
I'm not.
You're not looking forward to when your wife is now is above your level?
Yeah, I don't need my wife spanking me. I'm good.
That's all right. You know, I just upgraded to some PS23s this year, and I'm looking forward to the day she's ready to jump up to that next level of arrow and such. Now, that's when she feels more confident, where she knows that she doesn't have to worry about losing, because those arrows, man, they're expensive after you're all done with them.
Yeah, the gear's expensive. That's the one thing that was a little hard to get used to when I started doing archery. The arrows are expensive, and then you get into hunting, and the broadheads are expensive. And it's like, oh man.
Yeah, they are. That's why I like one of my primary sponsors is Veteran Innovative Products, and he's a veteran himself. He's self-taught aerodynamics, and so he built a solid company that puts together broadheads where you have to buy, you don't have to worry about buying them more than once. You just buy the actual broadhead once, and then you just replace the blades. And that's what his claim to fame is, because it's like he's got the highest recovery rates of all the broadheads out there. And he doesn't post his stats. He just has this information because he has a variety of vendors all across the world. He has people in Argentina, Afghanistan, all the way out to in Australia too. They even use he's got pictures of people using his broadheads on kangaroos.
Really?
Yeah. And what first turned me on to them is that back when it was still called Aerodynamics back in 2014, is that they came out with the guillotine. And there's a video, I don't know if it's still out there on YouTube, but it shows somebody drawing back on an ostrich, head completely gone. Just all it had left was just a hair of flesh holding it on. So all of a sudden you just watch the ostrich walk by, and then there goes the head.
I've never seen it. I'm gonna look for it though.
Yeah, check.
I've seen the videos of them chopping the turkeys' heads off with those, but
Yeah, these are what it came out last year. This is the Guillotine X because, well, obviously, I don't know if you can't really see
Yeah.
it from that way, but this is 175 grain, and this thing's absolutely
Dude.
massive. And what these do is that now they bend. So this way, then, if you miss your target, you don't have to worry about the blades bending or
Yeah.
getting torqued or anything like that. And the best part is these are all made in America, so that's the best part.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So during when everybody was struggling to get broadheads in and stuff like that, he was flourishing because everything's right there manufactured in Fredericksburg, Texas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
So while everybody else is struggling to get the stuff from either China or Japan or from the Korea or the Philippines, he was just ready to fill orders without issue.
Yeah, his first guillotine was like the curved one, right?
That was the Atom, I believe. The
okay.
The guillotine is just flat out straight X.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Those look cool. I've never shot one, but
You guys get your turkey tags yet for this upcoming spring?
dude, we're so busy with the event. I dread even thinking about turkey season, you know.
Well, if you didn't know this already, you can actually hunt in Nebraska over there on the eastern, or well, for you guys, it'll be east of you in that northeast corner. There are northwest, however you want to look at it, where it's Crawfordville, Nebraska. Well, in that area there, they actually have a bow only season, and it starts. Actually, I believe it already opened up. It's 2 weeks of bow only, and then it rolls into gun. So you have the entire public land all to yourself to go turkey hunting. It's $157 per tag. You can get 3 birds.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
You can camp out there. You can get hotels out there. So it's like if we weren't going to Mountain Archery Fest, that was going to be my trip out west, was to go to do this hunt. So if we were able to book everything, I wouldn't actually be out there. And it actually was like October. I was looking at hotel dates and stuff because as soon as you can reserve, not a hotel, but a campsite, as soon as you can reserve a campsite is October, because you only do it 6 months prior to the actual date of your reservation.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, man. Especially for yourselves, you guys are so busy. It kind of opens you up that opportunity where you can get out there and bow hunt only for that time frame. And I think it's either 2 weeks or 3 weeks long season.
Yeah.
Get those East
Yeah,
Coast.
I might get out a couple times. My family has a ranch right there by the Whittington Center on the Colorado side.
Okay.
So I might get out a couple times. We'll see. My daughter really wants to go, so I'll probably take her a couple times. But
Fingers crossed, you guys will be able to get her on a bird. You can do a 12 gauge or 20 gauge for her?
yeah, a little 20 gauge probably.
Perfect. Yeah, was it Iowa just passed last year? You could use 410s now for turkey, I believe. I'm not 100% sure if it's for whitetail, but that's a good way to get into it. Then I have a buddy of mine that's up in North Dakota. He hunts both sides of the border there, North Dakota, Montana. He's got his 4-year-old on a couple of birds throughout the years, and he got him set up on a 410. Got him a full size one. Then he just custom cut the stock to him. So this way, when he gets old enough, all you need to do now is replace the stock, and he's still got a good functioning firearm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we have a 410 for the kids, but I don't think you can use it here. I'll have to look more into that, but
It's funny how when you focus primarily on bow hunting, all the gun regulations just kind of go to the wayside. It's like, well, I have to go look it up because I don't remember what it was.
For sure, man, for sure. Yeah, I used to geek out on the gun stuff, and then bow hunting hit, and I was like, oh wait, I haven't had a rifle tag in years.
Yeah, what are the current regulations? So Efron, you gonna get any of your kids out on some turkeys?
I'm not sure. I've got them on. I had a guy last year talk to me about getting my kids out on it's like a youth ranch.
Okay.
And he put them on standby last year and called me, said, hey, they're up, can you go? And I travel so much for my normal job. I wasn't able to do it. I think they're on standby again this year, but other than that, probably not, man. I'm in a hotel room right now in Houston working too. So between this and the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 jobs that I've got going on, I probably won't be in Colorado much until the event.
To the event. I gotcha. Which
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Before we wrap things up, is there anything you want to touch on one last time?
I just want to reiterate that Western Hunt Fest is definitely a friendly event. Even if you're not a hunter, if you're a new hunter and you're listening to this podcast and you want to come check it out, it's free to just come out and walk around. You can meet the hunters, the athletes, you can meet the vendors, you can see what they've got going on, see what it's all about. And hopefully if you're not a hunter or you're a new hunter, we introduce you to something new.
Beautiful. Any closing final thoughts from you, Jeff?
If you come out, you can meet the people's champ, Mondo.
That is a very fitting title for him. And I talked to Chance last week because from Rod Holsters. He was on last week. He may not be. He's trying to figure out if he can make it because he got hired on full time, and he works 6 on. Or I think it's 8 on 6 off type scenario, and it's like there's always a conflict for the event, so he's not even sure if he's going to be able to get his booth set up at any of the events this year.
Oh yeah, I love Chance too. That's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I mean, he custom built my holster for me and stuff like that, and he actually went out of his way to go find me a mold for the X7 Legion from SIG. So it's
awesome.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed for him. And he's like, "Yeah, I can get it done for you," because a lot of places don't carry this model because it's a competition pistol, and I'm not a competitive shooter. I just really like how it shoots. But the fact that I have the dual molly, it's just a winner right there. And I have a buddy of mine who's talking to me this week about his. He has got a SIG 938. And he can't find his Kydex holsters. Like, dude, just talk to him. It's like I'm sure he can make it happen. Plus, if he doesn't have it, it gives him an inspiration to go get it. Now it just adds one more holster to his arsenal of stuff.
For sure.
And plus, he can put his logo on there.
Every time I've heard him talk to somebody, he's like, "Oh, I can get it."
Yeah. He does not tell a customer no. That's the best part of his customer service.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing you try to incorporate him on and see if he can get you guys a holster as a giveaway or something like that. That'd be fantastic to get his business.
Yeah, he gives away 2 holsters at each event.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And now, have you guys joined the Toxon app yet for your events?
The what?
The Toxon app. It is an app that is designed for people to go on if they're bored and they want to look for archery events. That's what it does. It uses your GPS location and it finds the closest archery event. He's managed to get all of HHA USA maps on there. I don't know about TAC, and then I know R100's on there too as well. So their whole nationwide schedule. But it's a great way to get you guys on there too as well. And he'll be gladly sign you guys up there and put all your information on there. And he's been growing, so it'd be good to get your guys' stuff on there. Just one more avenue for people to look at it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Look at that. Mm-hmm.
I think Brandon sent me his list one time, I believe, from MAF.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure how to get on there, but thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the best part about it. Jeremy Fisher's been on my podcast several times. So if you look through my 160 some episodes, you'll be able to find he's been on the podcast like 3 or 4 times about growth and such. So yeah, him and I are getting together here shortly. I just ordered some new A3 bowstrings, and we're going to be working on my target bow. I dubbed it the Incredible Hulk because it's like my strings are old school Hulk colors, and the bow itself is green and black. And then I got my PS23s that are purple and black. So it's like it's awesome. Gonna be wild. It's gonna be cool. So and plus we're throwing on a new Tetris sight on it. So it's gonna be rock and roll. I'm pretty stoked about the whole process.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's way cool.
Well, gentlemen, I want to say thank you for taking your time and jumping on the podcast here. For those that are on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. I also put in the westernhuntfest.com link inside the chat room there for you. And this podcast will be out next week, so please check in and go get your tickets. Go in there early. Go find their YouTube. Or you guys have YouTube yet?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, get that done, and then on top of that, go make sure you follow them on Instagram. Is there any other social media that I left out?
I
Nope.
think it's it.
That is it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
thank you, man.